Welcome to another episode of Cardi Kitchen. And right here to my right is my lovely niece, Megan. She's going to help me cook today. And today's menu, Megan, what are we making?
Raviolis.
All right. And what we're going to do with our raviolis, we're going to be making sausage ravioli. And we're going to make the dough first. So we're going to have 4 eggs and some flour and some olive oil. Then we're going to use some ricotta. Basil. I'm going to put basil in my dough today, which is a request by my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and my niece here. And with some little parm, and then we'll stuff as we go. So we'll go ahead and get started here and cut up the ingredients and fry up the, cook up the sausage. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and get the ingredients ready to chop up here. She's going to be doing the basil while I cook up the 5 sausage links. These are mild Italian sausage links, and we're going to get them into the mixture in a few here. But let's get this started. And
One
Megan,
question, Jeff.
Yes.
How big is your sausage?
How big is my sausage? Well, I guess every guy would say this is about a 5-inch, 6-inch piece of sausage, but that's how big my sausage is. Megan, you can talk.
Nice chopping.
You spoke.
Sounds.
Okay, so I removed the sausage out of the casing for obvious reasons, because it just cooks up a lot easier. Using an iron skillet, it's just very delicious. And if you look over here, I've got my sauce going, which is my homemade sauce. I'm just heating this up a little bit. What we're going to make is baked ravioli, which we will go through each step here after we're done getting the stuffing ready.
Probably.
So what's nice about the sausage, I've got a helper cutting up all the extra ingredients that's going to go into today's ravioli stuffing. Sausage, ricotta, and basil. A little bit of salt and pepper, and a little bit of garlic. And you're going to drain this, get the excess fat out once it's done cooking. But again, you just want to get it down to a manageable grind. I wish I had smell-o-vision. Don't you, Kelly?
Smells wonderful. Sounds.
Okay, so we're going to make the dough first, so that can rest for about 20 minutes. We're going to put 3½ cups of white unbleached flour, and we're going to sift it. And the reason why we sift is because it makes the ingredients, it makes all the ingredients mixed better. And so we're going to do 3½ cups of flour. We're going to do 4 eggs. I use the jumbo eggs. Now with your dough, your pasta dough, you want it leathery and pliable. You don't want it sticking to your finger, and you'll see that consistency. And then you're going to use about anywhere from a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of water, just depending. And so the reason why I'm not going to use as much water is because I'm also adding olive oil. I like olive oil in my pasta dough. And so I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Megan, you want to get the, we're going to put, this is a ½ cup of chopped basil. And then we're going to go with 4 jumbo eggs.
Unless you want shells in your pasta.
Yeah, well, I like it crunchy, so sometimes, when I do the one hand here, I get a little bit, but I'm pretty good at it. And it's usually somebody else that gets that bite, so it doesn't really bother me too much. But 4 eggs. Now, if you don't have a blender, you can do this old school. It's a little bit harder, but what you do is you'll mound your flour right here, and then you make a little well with the back of your measuring cup, and then you put your eggs in there, and then just use a fork and your hands. But this is going to do the job a lot quicker for us and more efficient. So I'm going to put the paddle on first. I go to 2, and I'm just going to let this go for about a minute, get the ingredients mixed, and then what we can do here is I'm going to get my water prepped. Again, you're going to get about 2 tablespoons of water. So here we go. So we're going to stop this for right now. We're just going to take the paddle off and get your dough off. But you can already see it's sticky, too sticky, obviously. But we're going to get this off. Then we'll put the dough hook on, and this is where I add the water. And you know, this is consistencies, right? You're going to have to sometimes add a little more water, sometimes add a little more flour. But I've been doing this for a while, so hopefully I get pretty lucky here. And what I do is I just add, oops, I'm going this side of the camera. I just add the water and let this go. It's almost like a, you know, pizza dough or any dough that you're making. And we want it to get into a ball. This makes about 1.5 pounds of pasta. And once we get this all good, we will get our saran wrap or clean seal. And then we're going to knead this for about 1 or 2 minutes after this, and then we're going to wrap it up and let it rest for about 20 minutes while we make our stuffing for the ravioli. Okay, so this is what the dough looks like now, and it's ready to come out. Go ahead, Megan, take it out. And we're going to just barely flour the top here, and she's going to knead this. For about 1 to 2 minutes, and kneading is just pushing your heel and knuckles into it and roll it. How does that feel? Is that too dry or is it too moist? If you want to test it, you can take your piece of dough off like this and see how it doesn't crumble and it doesn't stick to my fingers. That's telling you the dough is in very good shape. Knead. So you know what? This is she's doing cardio.
Cardio with Cardi.
Thank you, Megan. We're gonna make a 3-layer ravioli, baked ravioli, and I am going to cook this 100% in the oven. I'm not going to cook this prior, which is usually boiling, and then we're also going to cook a few. We're also going to cook a few deep frying to let everyone taste those, because deep fried ravioli is delicious. All right. Okay, so Megan's worked out pretty good here. She made it into a nice little ball, and so we're going to go ahead and wrap this. Lift it up. And let this rest for a good 20 minutes while we make the stuffing. So remember the rules, right? TTF.
Tough fold.
She's so good. You can, yeah, that's fine. Just roll it. Just make sure it's sealed. There you go. And this doesn't really need to be in a warm spot. You definitely do not want to put it in the fridge if you're going to cook right away with it. But if you're going to cook tomorrow, then you can go ahead and put it in the fridge. I would probably double bag it and then just leave it in the fridge. And then you got to take it out at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes before using the dough. And if you, I don't recommend freezing it, but if you can freeze this up to a month. Okay, so we're gonna get the garlic ready. We're gonna get the garlic ready. I'm gonna use this garlic paper remover that my beautiful wife got me, and it takes the garlic out. Last Christmas, she got this for me, and I'm still trying to use this, learn how to use this. And then this incredible plate, you sit there and hold the tip, and it minces the garlic for you.
Just the tip, though. Just
the tip, and kind of also, if you got any, I guess if you want to do a little manicure, it takes some of the skin with it too. The garlic, why she gets about 1/2 cup of parm for the stuffing, and let me just show you real quick here. You just want to hold the tip. You don't want to let that tip go. And then you take your little handy dandy brush here and you just, minus the head of that, and just put a little bit, it's one clove of minced garlic. That's if you like garlic. All right, and this is 3 cups. She's gonna add the other part there. This is 3 cups, or 4 cups of ricotta, or if you want to really pronounce it funny, ricotta. And that will go in there, along with the 3.5 cups. Brady, was it 3.5 cups?
Yes.
3.5 cups of sausage. You know what's really good about Italian sausage? You get to taste it. You want to mix everything in there? Really good. We'll add some salt, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Does anybody want red chili flakes in it?
No thanks.
All right, so just a little dab of salt. This is mainly for my brother-in-law, who loves salt. Huh, Brady?
Yes.
A little bit of pepper, and that's about it. And we're going to mix this up, and then we're going to let it rest for about 20 minutes to kind of firm up a little bit. So when we do the stuffing of the ravioli, and it'll go in there much easier. So we are now going to knead the dough through the dough threader, KitchenAid jobber here. Cut it. So we're going to take our dough, we're going to cut this in 4. And then we're going to put it through the KitchenAid accessory. And then
the same as quartering it, Jeff?
Quartering it, yes, Brady, thank you. And then over here on this station is where we're going to stuff the ravioli. So when you're kneading the dough for sheets for ravioli, you're going to start at number 1, and then you go to number 2, and then number 3. Ravioli thickness is around the number 4 or number 5 gauge on your food processor, your KitchenAid, not processor, because it's not processing anything other than the dough. But it is the dough-rator, I call it. You know, I put a little bit of flour in there just to make it smooth. Then I take one of the quarters and I cut that in half, and these will be my 2 sheets. Go to number 4, and I just flatten it out a little bit. And I fold it in half and let it go through twice. And you can, if you can only smell the dough, honestly, with the basil and garlic in there, it smells really nice. So I'm going to move it to my number 2. And then my number 3. And if you mess up, never try to fold this in half and put it through the processor with it being so tight, because it can and will eventually ruin your attachment. Thank you, Megan. And then this is number 4, and this one's ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it sit here and rest for a few minutes on the side here where I get the next one ready. And I usually let it rest for about 4 to 5 minutes. So we're going to make the second one. Again, I need this a couple times at the number 1 setting. And number 2, number 2, number 2, number 2. And again, I didn't like the shape of it, so I went back to number 1 to get the shape like the way I want it. There we go. And there's number 2. And then here's number 3. And then the last one, number 4. Now, some people go to number 5, but that's a little too thin for me. I like a little bite on the noodle itself. And again, we'll shut this down. And you'll notice over here, Megan is filming for me real quick, but this is the Ravioli Maker. We could do old school where you could just lay the sheet down like this. And, oops, I kind of got this stuck together. This is going to dry a little bit. Anyhow, you can lay this down here and then take your filling and just make 2 on each side, about 12. And then you just take your other sheet and you put it right on top. And then you just kind of divide them with your hand. And then if you have a cutter, a pastry cutter, or if you don't, you can use a knife. But what's really important is when you put that second piece down is you're gonna see it. It's gonna get sealed. So we're gonna let this rest here for a couple minutes before we start, and I'll get the rest of the dough all ready for her to stuff. All right, so feeding the last sheet through, and as you can tell, all around you, all around me are sheets of dough, and these are enough to make let's see, 12, 24, 48 raviolis. And we're gonna again bake these, and we're getting ready to stuff them. I need help with math sometimes. All right, so Megan's gonna take the first sheet here, and you can tell, see this, it kind of feels, it's pliable, but it feels like leather. And she already dusted it with flour, and you're going to put that over the Ravioli Maker, and she's going to take this and press that down to make the holes. There you go, excellent. And that'll come up, and then there's your pockets. And then she's going to take the stuffing, and she's going to go ahead and use a baller. You can use a baller, or you can use a or a spoon. That's okay. We'll fix that.
Okay.
And again, when you're stuffing your ravioli, you don't want to overstuff it because they will tear. So this baller is like the perfect size. And this does 12 at a time. Hey. So as the last one is getting put in there, you take the top sheet. You can add a little more in that one. There you go. And you're just going to set this right on top of this one right here, and you just pat it softly. And then I've got a small roller. If you don't have a small roller, you can use a big roller, and you just want to go on top. And you'll see the grooves start to get on there, so the cut will be a nice easy cut. And as you can see, that she's going over that pretty good. Excellent job. Right there. Excellento. And then this can just tear off as we do it. Yeah, just a little hard. There we go. Perfect. And you got some excess dough. She's going to turn that over and flip it. Just kind of gently. And if they don't come apart, that's where your cutter comes in. And you can either use the straight edge or the squiggly. I call it the Charlie Brown looking squiggly, right? And you can see these are just coming out beautifully. So if you don't want to bake these, you could put this in boiling water. I didn't put any salt in my dough, and the reason I don't is because everything you do going from this point forward is going to have some salt in it, and I just don't want the dough to be too salty. So we're going to fill the rest of these up, and we're going to let them dry over here to the right, and we'll just let them dry on the table here. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and build our ravioli, baked ravioli. As you can see, we've got enough here for 4 layers. We're going to definitely do 3. We got parm, and then mozzarella, and fresh mozzarella, and fresh parm, and some homemade sauce that I still haven't showed you guys how to make, but we'll get to that. So you want to layer your bottom pan and just kind of move it all around. And then we're going to take our ravioli and we're going to start building. We're going to put, I think we got a 4 across, Megan?
I think so, yeah.
Is that what we did? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little sauce.
12 per layer or 16, Jeff?
It's 12 per layer, Braid. 12 per layer. And it's important that you have liquid in when you're baking these. And by the way, these are not cooked. They're going to cook in the we're going to add they're going to cook in the oven with the boiling sauce. And then I'm just going to grate some nice parm over it. Don't have to do a whole lot, but just enough. And the saltiness of this is where the salt comes in, Brady. All right. And then I'm going to do take some fresh mozzarella. I'm just going to tear, oops, and slap it down. And we will, we're going to continue to do this until each layer is built. So, last layer on there, and the last grate of cheese. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha cheese, cha-cha-cha cheese. And this is going to go in the oven. We're going to cover it and go in the oven for, right here, Megan. And over here too. And there too. We got to have enough cheese, man. You know that. We're a cheesy family. This is going to go in the oven again, covered with, what's that stuff called? Aluminum. For the first 15-20 minutes. And then we'll take it off to crisp up the top. And this is the mozzarella. What I do is I just cut each of these in half and just stick them right on top of each of the pillars of ravioli.
Cut or rip.
Cut, rip, whatever it takes. And the last piece here. There we go.
Do you just use aluminum foil or a sheet of aluminum, industrial size?
I don't have any industrial size, so I just take the aluminum foil and I cut it like any other normal human being does.
Well, you tear.
So yeah, here we go. So see, Brady, this is the Reynolds wrap. And here we go. And our next step here is to fry some ravioli. And we're going to go ahead with the rest of our ravioli. So we're going to finish this round of ravioli with deep frying. I've got my fry station set up here through about 325. And so I've got milk. And why I use milk to dunk makes it sweeter. Makes it quite lovely. So I'm going to do 6, 7. I'll do about 8 at a time. And you just got to make sure these get really moist. So the breadcrumbs, and these are just your typical Italian breadcrumbs that you can get at your local store, or you can make your own by not eating your bread and waiting till it gets grossly not edible. And keep a dry hand if you can, and just toss these as much as you can, getting them all covered. And once they're covered, we're going to start frying. Hear that sizzle? And these are gonna definitely fry up pretty quick here. So just keep them rolling. I would keep them each side about 20-30 seconds. We can just see if this is too hot on your first go around. Ooh, not being cooperative. There we go.
Slippery little suckers.
Yes, they are. And these are frying up really nice. And these, you can serve as an hors d'oeuvre. Most time when you have fried ravioli, that's what they usually serve them up as. But we're going to have them for dinner as well, along with our baked ravioli, which will soon be out of the oven. Anytime, as these beautiful pillows are cooking at 350 degrees, I'm going to get my brother-in-law to come over here and try one when they come out. Hopefully they're as good as they look and smell. So again, about 20-25 seconds, and you just flip them, and they become this nice golden brown. I wish I had lava fingers, but I don't.
Why is that, Jeff?
Well, then I could just dip my hand in there, Brady, and not worry about getting burnt. All right. And our last batch coming out, which are going to be very hot, very delicious. But I just had another wild hair. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fry some spaghetti too. I don't want to waste it, but why not, right? All right, the last are coming out. And the grater, where's the grater? She's grating the fresh parm. More parm. They all dared me to take the freshest one and try it, but I say nay. I'll take one in the back here, and it's still rather hot. Oh, look at the deliciousness of that pillow. Well, stay tuned for more episodes. Please subscribe to Cardi Kitchen, and I welcome all comments. Well, what really happened here, I got all excited about how delicious everything was, and I forgot to show you the finale of the ravioli. So this is the baked ravioli, again at 375 for about 40 minutes until it's, bubbly. And by the way, the deep fried spaghetti, epic fail. Don't do it. It tastes like, what was it?
Stale Chinese noodles.
Stale Chinese noodles with salty cheese. So, I mean, you could try it, I guess, but no, again. But these beautiful deep fried ravioli came out spectacular. So, until next time, Cardi Kitchen, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, Megan, for helping me today on Family Day cooking.
Oh, you're welcome.
Next, we might have Friend Day cooking. I don't know.